projects, different types of the details, and there are hundreds of these details, some of them about engineering organization, and some other details which are common for different projects. Each of them has its own special detail, and it's better for you if you practice on these details if you want to be a professional BIM modeler, not just a 3D designer. I've been emphasizing about this all the times. If you want to work with Revit software, your point of view should be same as a person who wants to work in BIM culture. It's different from a person who just want to be able to work in 3D. If you want to have this field, it's better to have some other softwares like SketchUp, 3D Max, Rhino, and they're even better. They are more flexible about 3D, but this is about executive projects and it has its own challenges and you have to deal with them. Here we have different types of the details and I try to cover several examples of these details to be able to have some special details and tips in the way that you're able to use them in your projects. And if we need more time for this, we probably will have another webinar and we will cover this topic. We will continue this in that webinar. Okay. Let's start with some more simple sections. Then step by step, we will go for more complicated details, sections. We always try to use some usable, simple, and fast methods in our work. Okay, first of all, you, as a BIM modeler, you should not see the projects as second phases. You should see them with LOD structure. Guys, these two are totally different from each other. You can see the project as the second phases, same as the AutoCAD, when you are working in drafting. But these are about shop. When you want to have this in Revit software, it's more close to shop. It's about creating executive plans. You should always try to have LOD structure in your modeling process. And you should probably have LOD 300 to be able to have these things, 350 or even 400. And 300 or 350 can be enough for you for most of the projects to have the good results. But for this shop, you have to have 400 LOD. And for sure, the process to having these results with LOD 400 is hard and time consuming. I'm telling these things because you have to manage your time if you want to have this process. So, at first, we need some details like these details. To having these details, you need to have joinery and building stiffening separated from each other. Right now, this part is flooring of the ground level. After that, this level, and then joinery work layer of this section. And as you can see here, sloped concrete, sand and cement mortar, and joinery layer. And for sure, you need to have joinery table to be able to know about the materials which you need for this layer. Now, here in Revit software again, and let's have this detail. And here, let me tell you something. This template is a ready template, and most of the things which you're gonna do is considered here in this template, and you can have it and use it. And right now, I don't have any plan for creating templates. We don't have any webinar about this for now. For now, we just need to know about different details. Okay, I open a blank file. New default metric template, which is the default of the software. Okay, and here in this section, first of all, this section, construction, and for sure to be able to have correct project in Revit software, you should separate construction and architectural levels from each other. If there is ground level, if I say level 1, which is arc, is 10 centimeter higher, so I will have a constructional level here at 0, like this. Then here in this level, I use floor as an instance. This size 5 meter in 5 meter. This is the flooring finish. After that, here we have 2 layers between 10 and 15, and under that it's 20. So according to the informations, here I duplicate this with this name, and here 3 layers. First one between 10 and 15, and here like this, and the last one a little more. Okay, and okay. Now on this level, which is arc, we need to have 10 centimeter flooring like this. Here, this is construction level, and this one is okay. Here in edit type, duplicate, and I name it AF01. And try not to name your things like this. Try to have some names to be able to, find them easily if you need them later. Or you can consider a parameter for it to be able to find it later. As an instance, here in manage, project parameter, new, and I name it use, for example, like this. And floor, for example. Or I prefer to type in Persian. Use, floor, wall, and they can be enough. Text, and here data type. Okay, and okay. Now when I select this, here in this section, I can see this word, usage, in Persian. And I can add this sentence, for example, flooring of the corridor. Apply. And in this way, later, if I need it, I can find it easily. So try to use this technique. It's helpful. Here again, here we have 1, 2, 3 for this 10 centimeter, which is 1, 4, and 5. So here 10, 40, and 50. And the last one is according to concrete. So this core boundary should be on this. Guys, it's really important to recognize core boundaries and functions correctly. Substrate, finish 4, and finish 5. Like this. Because it's not construction anymore. By construction, I mean brickwork. Now here, we can have materials. Okay. There are some limits about hashes of the Revit software, so I need more hashes. This template, I open it here in this file again, in manage, transfer project standard, check now. Then only hashes, which here we call them fill patterns, and material. We need these two. Let's have them to save the time. We don't need to create them. Override. No, it's okay. I select this. I don't need this file anymore. Right now, all of the hashes and materials of those files are here. And there are more than 800 hashes. First of all, this one, select. Then in this section, okay, as you can see here, we have this. Let me choose a stone here. And I duplicate this, O1, and then in this section, let me have a hash. Like this. After that, this one, duplicate, O2, and the hash, this one. And next one, sand. I select this here, earth. I select this one. And let's see. Yeah, we can use first one. It can be good. Okay. 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 That's it. And I hide the levels and section for this to be able to see it better. I control the scale, and as you can see here we have these layers. After that, we should have slope concrete according to the details which we have in the project. Here it is. Concrete and mortar. So here in this section, I click in this section, and here concrete. Let's choose a concrete. If you want to create it from the base, you can search here, then in library, in default items, you can add each one you want, then you rename it as an instance CO1. After that, here the hash of the cut pattern as an instance this one, and the color as you like. Then okay. After that, here we have mirror. We can duplicate this concrete one more time. I name it test 2. As I told you before, try to consider name to be able to find it later. Let's finish it. I'm going to tell you about an important tip. Here I choose this concrete, apply, okay, and then here flooring according to the chart. As an instance, one of these defaults, ceramic for example, this one. Okay, here we have a point. Most of the people, when they create a material, they describe it in description part, or they copy this name in this section. The reason is that they can find it later and they can know about it later. Let me save it. I rename this 3D detail, and I lock this. I save it. Then in annotate with material tag like this. Okay. I rename it like this. It's not incorrect, but you need to repeat it for each project. And using material tag, is not really suitable when you want to work professionally. If you want to work more professionally, you can use Keynote. And it's really important to develop your Keynote during working on your projects. Guys, Keynote is an external file in Revit software, and you can use it to add and complete your data and informations, as in instance, materials and equipments, to use it in future projects. But right now, in another project, I need to open it again. Except of that, I should save this material tag in a template, which it can cause some difficulties. It can be a little bothering. And another thing is about another option of the Keynote, which you can consider it for some 2D elements, which later we will talk about them more, but it's not possible to have material tag for them. This is really interesting to having quantification for detailed components. So how we can create keynotes? In software defaults, it's in English, and when you click on this, here it's according to the CSI standard. It contains 16 sections, and each of them have some special categories like this. It's according to this standard. Here, each of them are a specific code for this standard. You can search for them if you need to have more information about it. You should search for CSI standard for the materials in constructions. But each of them has a code. As an instance, this one in CSI standard is this one, and everybody knows, and others as well. All of them are considered to a specific material. And I want to create a new standard. I want to ignore the defaults. So when you want to have your project in shop level in second phase with a high LOD, try to use Keynote. To be able to use it, you need a notepad. So in the path of your system, create a notepad to be able to save it all the time. You should not rename it later. You should not delete it or move it. If you want to do these kind of things, you need to consider its path again. But the informations of previous projects will be saved. They won't be changed or deleted. Here, text and the name, as in instance, Keynote. Version 0. Then I open it. The structure of the Keynote here. Its structure is like this. At first, you have a title, okay, like this. And imagine it's a plus. When you click on it, a list will open with some codes, 1, 2, 3, 4, for example, then a description for each one, and these descriptions connect the item to the related header. The structure is like this. So here, first of all, for example, some materials for flooring. So I type floor, enter. This floor is the header. After that, code. This code can be according to some standards, or it can be your personal code, you know? You can customize it. But I myself try to do this according to the type of the titles and headers. For example, for the floor, F1234, or W for wall. But here for the floor, F-01. Guys, you should use tab. Don't use space. After tab, have your description here. Here, for example, I type in Persian, mortar, sand and cement, 350. After that, when it's done, after the last word, use tab to have a distance. And here at the end, the type is floor. Try to have exact word of this header. I copy this, how many you need, like this for example. The descriptions can be similar for all of them, but the names should be unique. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and others. And here in description, here 250, this one 150, again here, here just this one, I remove this part, or here for example, cement sand slurry. Or here, ceramic, high quality, cream, Persian, 60x60 ceramic. It can be different like this. Then we need to save this. Okay, Revit again, then here, keynote setting, and I browse this to find it. Okay, I saved here, I copy this path, then I paste it here, and the keynote file. Okay, when I click on this, it's loaded here and it's completed. But as you can see here, Persian font cannot be supported here, and it's normal. It's not related to the Revit software. It's about the Unicode of the Windows. So I need to change the Unicode of my keynote. Right here, I save it as here, then encoding, which is here. The name is here. If you are using Windows 8 or older versions, here there is a code which is encoding app, but if you are using Windows 11, you should use this one. Save, and here again, I browse it, not reload, I browse it, second one, and then here. And as you can see, all of the fonts are visible here. So from now on, if I want to work here, I select this, and after having material here in Keynote, ignore this one, this section, it's not important. I try to have this default, but this Keynote is important to me. I click and I select the desired Keynote. The advantage of this section is that you can develop that file out of this software step by step. Whenever you are free to do this, you can work on it. And you can ask your friends to help you. For example, you are good in flooring, you can do it. Your friend is good at walls, he or she can work on the walls. And it's gonna be completed step by step. Okay, and okay. And from now on, we will use material keynote for this. I can set this to use text and also the code. This code can be a unique and a specific code for you. And when you face with it, you will know that it's related to which of the items which you considered in that notepad file. Guys, when you use Keynote later after a while, you can use Keynote Legend according to the sheet which you are using it. and it's really helpful and interesting. And for example, right now, if I create a sheet and when I drag this to this sheet here in legend, I selected as an instance floor. Okay, and okay. Here, all of the keynotes will be listed here, and I put it here in this sheet. And it works with coding. And when you see that you have many keynotes, but in sheet, they're not as well, you just need to be here and you can set it to filter it according to sheet. You just need to select filter by sheet. Right now, it just shows whatever you have in your sheet. And it's really helpful and also interesting in your projects. And here again, I remove this section box. Here in 3D again, I deselect this one as well. Okay, in this way, you can have flooring. Next tip, which is really important, is about the tiles. Normally, we try to use surface pattern inside of cut for the finishing layer. As an instance, to be able to show the cuts, here I select one of these items. But for the surfaces, I select hashes. But the layers which are below this layer, they're not visible right now. Only the cut pattern can be enough. You don't need to have surface pattern as well because it's not necessary. It's not visible, you know? Okay. And okay. Now there's a point. Let me open a CAD file here. Wait a minute, I open this file. I want to show it to you. Then we will continue. In some of the projects, to be able to work accurately, here in these sections, I show the position of start point in tiling. For example, it starts from here. In this way, if there is any incomplete piece of tile, it will be in corners. In this way, if this building is for an office, it can be covered by the tables and furnitures. You should try to consider this point in your projects, even if you haven't considered it yet in your projects. It's better to start considering it, especially here in Revit software. To do this, try not to use drafting pattern, never. You should always use model. There are so many differences between them. One of them is that some tools like rotate, align, or move don't work on this one, but they work in model. So here in appearance, if you consider the tile, which I do this here, I type for 600. Let's see, what do we have? I change this one to floor. This one, for example. Okay. I change this. I just select this. And I want them to be 50 in 50. There are two tiles, so they will be 1000 and 1000. And be careful when you are entering values according to scale, the number of tiles should be multiplied in one of them to be able to have the correct value. Except of this, every value will be incorrect. In graphic again, it should be 1550. So here tile 500 in 500. And in this section, this tile in model, I duplicated 500 in 500. Here 500 and 500. One can be enough. And let me tell you this, that values in drafting are a coefficient of scale, but in model it's according to the size of the project. Okay, apply, and okay, it will be added here. Double click click. And another point which is really important to us is that we need to be sure that the size of the texture is same as the size of this pattern. So here, texture alignment, we need to control this here. It's really important. We need to control it to match them. When you change it to rendering or realistic, it should be in the same texture which you have in header line as a pattern. Okay and okay. Right now, let me have them inside of each other. I change one of them to realistic and another one to pattern. And as you can see, they are the same in size. Another interesting point is that model patterns can work same as the UVW maps. I can select this, and with moving this, the tile will change as well. But here I want to define the start point of tiling here. Here in plan, right here, imagine we're gonna start from this corner. Some tools like align, move, and these kind of tools work on the model patterns. So I select align, I deselect lock here and here with this, like this. In this way, it will start from this corner and the incomplete parts will be at other side. These small details are really effective on your projects. After that, here again, I close this. And if I want to convert this to this one, which here we have 6 layers. And here in this section, we have this concrete for sloping like this. And after that, we have insulation, 2 different layers of insulation. Then this layer and the tile, which here totally we have this value here and this section is valuable. So I press Ctrl and drag this here and I duplicate this O2. After that, this parameter which we made here, I change it. As an instance, what is it? It's flooring of the roof without thermal insulation. This insulation is waterproofing. Be careful. That was about the roof on the room. Here we have the roof. And this one has the insulation. Okay, so we can have this information here to be able to find it easily. And it's optional. If you don't need it, you can skip it. Okay, I duplicate it. Back to here. Here we have 6. I prefer to delete them to start from 0. Here we have this. And here by category to be able to have everything by defaults. Okay, back to defaults, and there are 6. We have one of them here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like this. Okay, here in this section, again, I click on this, substrate, here like this. After that, finish 4, and finish 5. Maybe sometimes we need to change this to 4, but it depends on the connections which you have between the finishing of the flooring and finishing of the walls. Okay, here at the top, 20 or 15, here 20, here 50, so far 85. Okay, this one 40. This one is about concrete sloping. So here I create a layer for sloping concrete like this. Here we have the protector. So I create the layer of the protective mortar. And right here, I copy this and I paste it here. I don't need to have it each time. And here, insulation. Then on this one, we have sand and cement mortar. I selected, and on this one, tile, ceramic, stone. You can select whatever you need. Return to edit type. I'm telling you again, you should always define the type of your keynote here in these sections. Okay, after all, here okay, okay, and okay. Now, MA or match properties. Let's have this on here once. After that, we will check it out in section. Here, like this, fine. The scale, 1:10. Okay, in this way, the detail will create here and we can use it. And we want to present it like these examples. Okay, for sure, after section, we need to have callout. So here in view, in this section, rectangle callout, here like this. Okay, here, now the desired scale, whatever it is. For example, here, I change it to 1.5. Like this. Here, we etch for levels. Here in Annotate tab, with using detail component. Here, load in Revit software. It's exactly the opposite of Keynote standard, which is CSI. Here we have a folder, which is detail item. It's exactly the same. I mean, Autodesk company made this according to CSI standard. These are 16 categories and folders. Whatever we have in these folders are exactly the standards which Revit software use them. You can use them, you can edit them, or you can make that details for yourself. We will talk about them. As an instance here in this first folder, we have this one, same as the break line in AutoCAD. Here in this folder, break line with space, this side, space, this side. This is the break line. Like this. This section, the bottom, it's too much. Here, I crop it and I can have it like this, or I can remove this and I can set it to see this part like this, and I can turn this off. It's 25, but in graphic point of view, it uses less space. But I want to have the real dimensions. As I told you before, we can control this, but I want it to be more graphical. As an instance here like this, I turn this off. Then with using masking region, SP-line, here, graphical like this. Then I continue till here. Okay. After that, I turn it to invisible and finish. It will be something like this. And these two lines, they're still visible. I select this break line and send to back, or this one to have it here. Right now, it's better. Right now, I can have a better graphical view. Here I need to tell you something, it's really important. When you use callout, right now I'm in section. Far clip offset is 662 millimeters. Guys, callout always sets suitable and match with the current view. See? You should always set these far clip settings you should change it from same as parent view to independent. And this one can be about 10 millimeters. Sometimes with 10, nothing is visible. You can change it to 50 or 100. But right now, 1 can be enough. Why I'm doing this? Because this detail is just a layer or a skin of that surface. I don't need to have any depth because it makes my file heavy. So 1 millimeter can be enough. For clipping, it's usually in clip without line in defaults of the Revit software, but you should change it to this one, clip with line, because we need to have the line visible. But right now, there's no any difference. Let me tell you about what I mean about it. I open a blank file and I draw a wall like this with a section line right here. Let's have it like this. Okay. Guys, it's deep as here. When I'm here, as you can see, this line is not visible. And we need to see this. So this is the reason which I told you, you need to make it visible in these settings. It's necessary to see this line. And that was what I meant. Okay. Here we have show in. It's in parent view or intersecting view. This item is better. It's more suitable and it's really interesting. And the scale till 150. After this scale, it shouldn't be visible. Here, let me tell you that what does it mean, this intersecting. Here in section again. Here we have this boundary. It means that if there is any intersection with this boundary, it should be visible. See, it will be hidden. It's about this. Guys, these small tips are really important in your projects. Many people have enough knowledge about Revit software. They're good and professional, but they don't know these small tips and techniques. And for example, they hide the items manually here. It's an example. And it can be really bothering in the process of the project. It can waste your time and you might forget about showing it again. And these things are really common. Okay, after that, for sure you have some floorings in your project with the slopes. Here in this level again. Here, when I select add point, and here along surface, top plane, minus 40 or 35. Okay, now slope with these values. Okay, guys, it's normal to face with this warning at the first time. It's a warning about highlighted floor overlappings. And it makes sense. Let's see, where is this line? Okay, let me move this section line here. As I said, it's normal. The reason is that here we had 35 millimeter and it's moved for 35 millimeter and there is an overlapping because of this motion and it caused that warning. Always in this kind of situations, the layer which is about sloping concrete, same as what we have in AutoCAD plans. Let me find a detail to be able to describe this for you in a better way. For example, here, when we say concrete, we are talking about the layer which its thickness is variable. It might be 20 centimeters somewhere or 5 centimeters at some other place. But the layers which are about the tile or insulation, they are fixed. They're not variable. We can't say that the thickness of a stone is 5 centimeters somewhere and somewhere else it's different. There is a single thickness and size about some special layers like stone or tile. So you should always select variable for this. Another point is that the value which you have here should not be bigger than the thickness of this substrate concrete layer. For sure, when it's bigger, everything will be reset. It will be changed to defaults. Okay, it means that from this layer downward, it's flat, but it's continuing this slope when it's upward. And when you look at here, you see that this layer is variable. This thickness is changing and it's obvious. But the thickness of other layers are fixed. And that's it. Here in this section again, about these floor drain sections, the point is that for many things, many items, or details which you create, like this one, the family won't be same as this. It's not possible in Revit software. Because Revit software uses some standard tools for creating families, which are different from some special softwares like Max or Rhino. They're not flexible enough. You can use them to show the generalities, and it's not possible to have the exact shape of some special products like sink, for example. You can model them, but having some special products, for example, this floor drain with these details in 3D is not possible. We can say that it's really time consuming. And to having this, it's better to have a combination of 3D and 2D model in Revit software. As an instance, imagine we want to work on this section, this part. Or this one, for example. Or which one you prefer. There's not a difference. For example, this one. I use a distance from here till here, but not here. Here. It should be 75. Okay, I select the whole. Then here in the model, here. I select this section, Ctrl C, copy, then I paste it in a blank file. Let's back to here, select Ctrl C, Ctrl V, paste it here. Okay, I delete extra items. Here delete. Here delete. Here. This ceiling can be here. Here and here. Delete hashes. They're useless here. They're just making this file heavy. Delete, copy this section till here, align this point, this point, this point, and this point, enter yes. Okay. Okay, I select the whole and all of them in a layer. When you want to have them in Revit software, we should try to have them in a single standard in Revit software. And let's see how much is this. 75. It's okay. I select the whole, this middle point, shift hashtag 00, move it to origin point. M enter, zoom extend, U1 enter, control the unit to meter, overkill, select it, select the whole, enter, and OK. If there is any overlapping, it will be removed. And PU we should try to make it light. Okay, now it's not heavy. I save it. In this session, today's session, here I copy the address. I name it drain and copy full file path. Then here in Revit software again, and here in plan, in component, load family, library folder, plumbing, architecture. There's not a difference between architecture and MEP, but we can have connections in MEP for the pipe, but it's not really different. Here in architectural, fixture, drain, and a 3D drain. Let me see, do we have here? Here in this folder, MEP, drain. Okay, we can have it here. It's round. Let's see, what is it? It's like this. Okay, here I select rectangle, open, face on face, and I click on this, or plane. It will be on the level. Okay, cancel here. As you can see, the drain is here. Let me move this callout and this section to here. We can have this here like this. I move this here. I should control them. Okay, it's not really interesting. In family, here we have item, enable cutting in view. When I select this, here, when there is a cut, it will be available there. And again, it's not what we desired. It's not beautiful. And now we want to have something more beautiful from CAD, something more professional. We want to have this. So I can use a combination of 3D and 2D view of Revit software. Here in this family, which is 3D, I save it like this. I hide it. It should be here. Okay, then I open a blank file, detail item. This technique is really interesting. Okay. And CAD file should be imported. Meter. Select CAD file and explode it. I select the whole and I move it to detail item. The reason that I told you it should be a single layer is that we don't want to make this scene messy. Now we just have this 0 and I can delete it like this. I can create a subcategory here, drain. Then I consider a color, thickness, 2. Then I select the whole and I move them to drain. Then this thickness, manage. Here, for different scales, I can change this. Copy, paste, 5, this one, 8. Apply, okay. Why I'm doing this? Because it's 1 by default, and there might be another 1 in some special places, and you should try to follow your rules about what you made, your standards. Okay, now it's a detail item, but it's not interesting yet because there's nothing behind it. I mean, when I move it to project, it's transparented. So first of all, here, let me draw similar. Here, drain. I connect this to here. Okay, another interesting point, which is really helpful. try to select your lines. There should not be any warning, especially when you import them from the CAD. Right now, there is a warning here. Right now, all of the warnings which are here, they're probably with the same structure. Yeah, out of X. You should always change the warnings to 0, especially in family. It's probably possible to do this in the project, but in family you can do this. You should have 0 warnings. So according to these things, this part is useless because there are same warnings for both sides. I delete this part. Okay. Look at here. There's still warning. I draw a line here. Angular. This one and this one. This one and this one. Guys, here is 45, but it's not recognizable for Revit software. It's probably 44.99, for example. Or it's 45.1, but it's not exactly 45. The reason of having this warning is this. So I select this and I set it in 45 manually. As you can see, the warning will be gone. See? Then I can delete them. Wherever I have this line, I should check. I move it a little. Again, Angular, here, and here. Here, and here, 45. Warning is gone. Next one, warning gone. This one, 45, and done. Then I delete them. After that, here we have warning. We don't have warning for this one. How about this one? Okay, here in manage, there's still warning. Where is it? I should check it out. Warning, 2 more warnings. One of them is this. Show, it's here. This edge, it's small. So I move this. And Angular here. 45. This one is gone. Where else? Manage again. We have another one. Show. It's here. Okay. Here like this. Select 45. So you should always remove all of these warnings, because if you don't do this, when you move them to project, there will be an error, and that error can delete some of these lines. Maybe. But you should always control the warnings. Okay, now if they're done, it's disactive. And as you can see, it is. Now I select these parts. Here, mirror, select copy, this side. Again, manage. Let's check the warnings. Okay, we don't have. Right now, with using this masking region, or let's have the hash first. Invisible, here, tab, it should surround it, select, except of this. Okay, hold, mirror to this side, finish. Then in edit type, the name, this, okay. Then I create a new hash, pat 01, 45 angle, 0.7, align, okay. Color, red, like this. Okay. The scale, this one, and the hash. I change this to hidden line. The scale. Here again. Double click. 1. Okay. Edit. I select the whole. What else do we have here? It's fine. Okay. After doing this, I select this line and back. I should have it behind this lines. Now I use masking region. Here should be invisible, and I should draw around this part like this. Okay, here and here like this, and they are mirrored, so we can work on a side, it will be mirrored. Now trim these sections. Here I draw a line here, trim here, I draw a line, a split here and here, then I delete this part, trim, and here like this. Okay, the whole mirror to this side. Okay, then I trim this side like this. Now finish. Let's see, is it okay? It's awesome. Now the behind of it is not visible, but this should be at behind. I select it here, hide all of it, select, cut, reset. See, it's here. Paste this item. I select it, they will be over it automatically. Okay, I select this hash and here sending back like this. When you do this, save it, and the name can be 2D drain. Then I load it in this family. Then in front view, I change this to hidden line, this item on this floor line, edge, hide it for now. Then visibility elements, I set it to make the course visible. I don't want them to be visible in medium and fine. And when I change them to medium or fine, they will be hidden. So, okay, then this 2D detail which we made, I added detail component, work plane, here, align the top of it with top of this one and the middles, lock. Then I select this detail component, visibility. I don't want it to be visible in course. The opposite of previous setting. Then here I select this, edge, fine, hidden line, and on. Okay, they are okay. Here, this one with this one, here and here, lock. And again, I remove this. Now I load this to the project. Override. See, it will be like this. Now in courses like this, everything is simple and light, but when I change it to light, I can have this with these details. And it's really helpful, especially for graphic and presenting this detail. Back to here, these sections which there is a cut for the pipe, let's have it in black. It should be dark. Here I change this to solid. Solid, okay and okay. Here and here, here and here. Finish like this. Then I load it first in the drain family, then in the project. Override. See, it will be like this. This length, we can change it to parametric. In this way, when we need, we can make it longer. But these things can be available according to your taste and what you need. In big projects, it's more time consuming and it's normal. And you should not compare working in Revit software with AutoCAD. It's especially different and it's really time consuming. And the reason is that you are working on each detail and part more accurately. As an instance, here in AutoCAD, this detail, for example, it's a general detail and you can have it wherever you need. But in Revit software, you are modeling every single millimeter of this model. It's true that this drain is exception, but the layers are not. We can't say we just want to have them in details. They should be visible in whole project, and this is the reason that it's time consuming. Working in Revit software is not faster than working in AutoCAD. You can be a little faster about some special things like revision and doing some special things twice, but the process of working and modeling are more time consuming, and it's really normal. If your work is not like this, there are some faults in your work. So in this way, we can edit the drains. Let me tell you about a small point here. Here, for example, you have a column at the corner. Most of the people consider it here like this. Guys, in this way, you will face with some problems about the flooring in sheeting's. You will face with something like this. Because of this, in this kind of situations, do not use sketch and try to have it like this. When you want to cut this, you can use opening. It's time consuming, but your detail will be more beautiful and correct. Vertical, click here, same as the column, cut like this. Okay, in this way, you won't face with any problem. The column is here, for example. Okay, that's it. And here again, this section. And here, about wall. Guys, we always work on the breakwork and joinery of the walls separately. There are several reasons. I want to talk about some of them. Next point is that in Revit software version 2025, you can have this option to work on these two sections separately. Okay, the reason is that, first of all, here, the brickwork of the wall starts from here. You should have 2 centimeters for measure. After that, you can have other layers. Final layers start from architectural flooring, and maybe they're not till the top. Maybe we have false ceiling here, and in these situations, they're till the bottom of ceiling, or totally 10 centimeters after the ceiling, not till the roof. And when we want to do this on the wall, it's not controllable. Or for example here, we have 2 kinds of materials. And when you want to work on all of the walls, all parts at the same time, maybe you're not able to work on these parts. Or maybe it's not controllable in quantification. Right here, as you can see, there is a wall. Imagine it's 20 centimeters. Interior and exterior spaces. And as you can see, here we have a dock. We should have joinery layer for a side, but not the other side. So it should be a different and separated tip. Here again, imagine there are 2 different types of materials. In this way, we need to work on each part of the wall separately. And in this wall, you might have 5 or 6 types of walls. But in fact, it's just a 20 centimeter Rica wall. Outside is covered by stone. And here we have this finishing. So, the reason of working on finishing layers and brickwork separately is these things. There are several reasons, and we talked about some of them. Now imagine that you want to model a detail here. As in instance, here, this detail this section, it's simple. This one, I use it a lot. It's interesting. It's a good example. Okay, let's do this. Here in level 1, level 3 construction, I select the wall, 20 centimeter wall. Imagine it's still level 2. I close this, and here in level 1, let's edit level 3. Yes. Okay, architectural level. First of all, a cut here. Then here. Imagine its detail. Okay, as I told you before, normally in these parts, we have 2 centimeter mirror. So here, Leica block. Here it is, Leica. Okay, like this. Here, I need to have 2 centimeter mirror. So here in edit, change this to section, and here sample should be same as the wall in the project. Here split, and I do this here like this, modify this line, and here 2 centimeter or 20 millimeter. Then here this section, insert a structure. Here I need to define a concrete murder. Okay, and I select this layer, then align. Okay, done. That's it. Now the layer which should cover this layer, I mean we should be in arc layer. I select the wall, then core face exterior. I draw this wall here. Imagine it's finishing layer. Here I select this and generic 200 millimeter wall, duplicate, I name it here finishing 01, and the usage can be typed here. Here we have 2 different layers. One of them is sand and cement mirror. After that we have ceramic, which size is 30x60. Okay. Here in this section, insert, and I should define the thickness. As an instance here, 2 centimeter and 10. The previous one can be 25. Okay. Here we have 4 meters. Core boundary, this section, so up. And finish 4 and finish 5. Here, mirror. Here in this section, I select this one. Whatever you need can be selected here. For now, I select this one. And I should consider a finishing material, which I want to have ceramic. This one, for example. Tile, okay, and okay. Here, the way that they're connected are accurate here according to the times which you want to do everything at the same time, because in that situations they're not controllable like this. Now imagine that your material is going to change after a height. As an instance, till here we have this material, and after this we should have plaster. Edit type, and I select a split and use it for this section. Modify, I select this, here 1 meter, and here 1 meter. Okay, here insert, up, because each one should be at suitable place. Here 5, here 4. This is the sand and plaster. After that, here I search for the desired material, and if you made anything, you can search it and use it here. I select this, assign, here, next one. Here again, plaster. I select this, assign layer, here. Okay, and okay. You can do this how many times you need for how many layers you have. And normally, it can be more interesting when you have the same thickness for the wall for two parts, up and down. If they're different, it's not really suitable. In these situations, we try to use stack wall because it's more executive and it's more real. When you take a look at the therapeutic buildings or office buildings or commercial buildings, you will see that for the walls, they use stone till the middle of the walls, and after that, they use white cement or plaster, and there is an edge because of the murder of the stone, which made the thicknesses different from each other. Now here, the thickness is, for example, 4.5, but here in this section above the window, it's 2.5 or 3 centimeter. So as you can see, there's a difference. Because of this technique and method can be useful when the thickness of the wall is similar for all parts. If it's under 5 millimeter, it's okay, you can use this. But when it's more, they should be separated. How it can be possible? I copy this and another one. These two parts should be separated from each other. So I select this, I name it bottom. And in this section, when you use a split, delete or these items doesn't work here. I can't delete these items. So first, I should merge them. The priority is about ceramic and murder here. So these two and here like this. Now I can delete them. So I just have these two layers here. And I increase this one, 3 for example, and this one like this. Now the other one should be the opposite. I name it top, and the merging should be the opposite of previous one, like this. Here I delete ceramic, and here murder. Finishing 8 millimeters, and the other one 2.5, like this. And now I set these two with stack wall. I select these here, stack wall, the last wall here is stack wall. I duplicate this as an instance, finishing. Then here, I open this list, bottom and top, here, both of them on each other. And here, offset, I change this to core face exterior. This one, top, the other one, bottom. Now for the bottom one, the top one should be variable. The bottom, 1 meter. I mean, here we have 1 meter and the rest of the wall is top. And the edge is here as you can see. Okay, now as you can see, it's really clear. See? Like this. And here in this section, it's with sweep and the other is reveal. They can be available easily. I try to use sweep for the bottom one. This one. I should create the profile first. I close this window. Profile, open. And here, 30, 50. Here, like this. Family 9 loaded in the project. I select this wall. And here in this section, sweep, add, family 9, desired material. I select a stone. I select it from the defaults. Okay. I raise it for a meter. Apply. Okay. I want it to be inside. So here, interior, minus 35 inside of the wall. Here, 40 is better. Okay. It will be like this. Okay. Now, it's moved upward, so there is overlapping above the wall. Here, when I select this with tab, this will be selected. Here in edit type, edit sweep, and I flip it. Now it's okay. It's flipped. Here we have this ceiling. I close this. Here in this section again, I should have another profile. To be able to have this profile only for this part, I can select reveal here. And here. 10 and 5 in millimeter. And I load it. Yeah, it's 10. Here I select this with tab in edit, zoom. I just need to have it for this part. Reveal. And I edit number 10, side, interior. I want it to be exactly here. So it should be at top. And 2 millimeter minus 2, like this. just for this finishing. Okay, and okay. And we could have this here like this. 5 and 10. Okay, cancel. Load it. Overwrite. Return to editing mode. I should edit it. Here. I remove the flip. Okay. And that's it. Here in this section. Here. Not this one. Here, detail. Okay. As you can see, it should be like this. Okay. The places which you put some doors or windows, as in a stance, here, this door, and I join these two to be able to have this empty, because except of this, they cannot be visible. Join like this. For sure, it's same as this part. These layers are bended, or these parts, as you can see, they're like this. We don't have a wrap like this here in Revit software in Cut. If you want to have quantification, you should create a family suitable with this to be able to have quantification. Or you want to have accuracy in details and in cuts. Let me raise this to be able to see these parts here. I'm doing this just to show it to you, like this. Here we can have an interesting technique. We can use cut profile in view. It's just for having more detail. I mean presenting more details. I want to bend this finishing layer and connect it to this here. I select and click on this. Thickness 25, so till here, 25 downward, again here, and like this. This arrow should be to the inside. It should always be like this. Okay. Again, cut profile and click here. How much? 8. So 8 millimeters downward, here and here. And this one here like this. And finish. Yeah, this should not be closed. The arrow and finish. Like this. And about the appearance and visibility, it's really beautiful. But it's not visible in 3D, or it's not effective in quantification. But for the details, it's really good. If you want to present these layers graphically, you can use this. As in a stance, here, I select this with tab, create part, I select it, and I can select each layer separately, and I can present them graphically. It doesn't affect in your quantifications or a structure of the wall. Whenever you want, you can return it. You can change it back to show original, and whenever you need it, you can change it to show parts. Tap create part, show shape handles here like this. We can control the layers. It's good to presenting your details like this. And if you don't want it, you can return this. Show original. Or even for flooring, you can select it. And when you use shape editing, create part is not visible here because it's not possible to use it for the surfaces with slopes. Here, this one is okay. This one is flat. Create part, and I can control it like this. I can present this in this way. Okay, when I delete this, the original will be saved. But if you delete original, create part will delete as well. Or we can do another interesting thing with it. If you want to have more graphic, here you can use mass. I draw an imaginary here, a spline, line, spline here, like this, here and here. I select this, create form, this part here and the top till here. Okay, join, finish, join. I join these two, like this. Now I hide this. See, I can have a graphical cut like this to present your works. Show shape handles, and if you want to have more controls, you can have some shapes like this. Okay, I delete this and off, and delete this one. Okay, this one, when you delete the parts, everything will be reset. And that's it. You asked the question about some problems in Revit software. We have this kind of problems. As an instance, about the stairs or curtain walls, everything you set here will be visible in the element. For stairs and some other elements, we have some problems in Revit software. When we want to export them in FBX, two stairs will be considered as an instance. Right now, when I select this, it's obvious that there are two stairs because it's not highlighted. But when I select the other items, they will be highlighted in red. But it doesn't affect on quantification or a structure of the models. It's just about FBX outputs. Here, for example, export FBX, and here, when I export this, I open Max. Here, File, Import, Import. Then the path, it's saved here. I copy this path and paste it here. FBX file, and I import it. Okay. Okay. Here I select this. When I move it, as you can see, there are two stairs. And this problem is since version 2012, which the stairs changed from by sketch into the by component, and we still have this problem, and I don't know why it's like this, and I don't know about the reason that Autodesk considered this structure for the stairs, and there's no any explanation the website or the beta version, which I'm testing it every day. I reported this problem in version 2012, and there was no any answer about it till now. But we have this problem for curtain walls as well, or even the patterns of the mass. If you're using mass, when you use them, your file suddenly will be really heavy, and it can cause to this problem for curtain panels and also stairs and the patterns of the mass, unfortunately. And we can do nothing for it. The only thing which we can do for them is deleting them. You just need to know that there are two of them here. You can select one of them and delete it. If you want to use 3D Max, Lumion, 2Emotion Unreal, and also FBX format. About the stairs, there is no any layering for the stairs. These kind of things are about the structure, which you need to consider these kind of things by yourself. As an instance, let me save them. I don't want to delete them. Okay, we want to create a stairs and we want to have more details, and it depends on the amount of your LOD. If you want to have shop plans like this, for example, here, here we have layering, or here the layers are defined. There are some techniques for having these kind of things, but in Revit software we don't have any special tool to consider the layers of the stairs, but it can be possible with some special techniques. As an instance, when I want to create stairs, first of all, here in this section, I select this, and then here in this section, maximum riser height, this one in minimum can be okay. This value matters to me. How many stairs do I want to have? As an instance, 22. The height of each one in actual 177, and threads 300. To be able to have a perfect coordination with the structure, if you want to have it accurately, you have to calculate formula here in calibration rule. So I select this. Here, 2 razors with a depth. So here equal 2 in 177.3 plus 300, which is for the thread. There might be any value here. For example, 250. And these values might be different according to the number of the stairs and the height of the razors. And tab, it will be like this. It controls the slope of the stairs. Okay, and okay. Then I draw stairs here. Finish. And I delete this. Edit. Here 11 and another 11 for the opposite direction section. Then here in one of these views or these parts which the levels are visible, right click, maximize 3D extent here. Okay, now when I put this here, this is the angle. Here we have 77 and 30. Let's check it. Google this sentence, stair calculator. There's a website. Open this link. Wait for it to be open. This is a platform to calculate the slope of the stairs. Here, everything is clear. The height, which here we have 4 meters. Am I right? From here till here, it's 3.9. Okay. So, this height, total razor meter, it should be 3.9. And the run 30 centimeters. Calculate, and here it is. How many stairs? Here we have 22 razors and 22 here. So here I need to check 22 stairs. Right here, 22, 30, 58, the slope of the stairs. Where is it? Revit software. Okay. How much? 30.58. Try to calculate this before drawing the stairs. You should check the slope if it's matched, and then you can draw your stairs and you can avoid any problem which can happen in your projects. Okay, right here, let me flip this. Okay, in these sections which you want to have finishing layers, you can solve these problems with several techniques. For example, here I define the stone 4 centimeter and razor and the thickness, apply, okay, something like this. Okay, another form is, as I told you before, these are some optional techniques. Here in this section, I consider it as a structure. Here I have mirror, and I'm going to have another stair on this. So here, I change the noising to 0, and here in this section, I join this like this, and here mirror material. Okay, like this. Now, when you draw stairs on this one with that setting which you desired, you can have something like this, and it will be exactly like this. And as you can see, this structure is too big for this part. And that's it. We can make it smaller here, like this. And you can have finishing layer for the bottom of the stairs or top of them. Another way is more time consuming, but you can have 3D model and you can have a better quantification. But another simple way is here we can ignore 3D parts. My goal is showing these details in the plan. This one defaults, and we don't want to join this. Okay, something like this. In these kind of situations, we can have this and we can consider it as a 2D detail or a combination of 2D and 3D detail. I mean, here I create a callout, this area, like this, detail, and inside of it, I change this to independent, and here show in intersecting views, the scale 1.50, and above this scale callout won't be visible, and I change this to clip with line and 10 millimeters. Okay, here the stone is obvious, so stone material, here we have mortar, and here the stone, this one, then I copy this for the bottom one as well. Okay, like this here. Okay, now to be able to define the mirror, we can use some 2D details. Here I select hash like this. It's just a 2D detail, and that's it. 2 centimeters, $20 and $20. Delete, delete, off, and I select line. Then for this section, which we have stone, I change it to invisible to avoid overlapping the lines. Pick line and trim here, here, line again. I close this. Finish. Now here the hash which we desired, it can be murder or whatever you have to define this part. Okay, for the stairs, for these parts, we can define a hash. For example, here in this section, I copy this to here, like this. And then we might have floor here. I move this flooring to here, then here in this callout. See, it should be downward. I can select this here and here in view cut, as I told you before, here, here, and here. Arrow, invert, finish, and these layers, cut profile, here, and here. I close it, invert, finish, to avoid overlapping. Cut profile again, here, upward, here, invert, finish. And one more time, we should repeat this process. In this way, the details will be more real. Here, one more time. We can join some elements, but I don't want to say that joining is not useful, but it can make the process of your project a little heavy when you have many joins. Okay, like this. But it's 2D and it's not visible in 3D, but to presenting some details it can be really helpful. And for this section, for its finishing layer, sometimes you might have a false ceiling below the stairs. In this way you can use your ceiling in this slope, or if you don't want it, you can have layering here and you can use roof by extrusion or floor. There are several techniques, but you just need to consider the slope. If you use this here, you should draw a reference. I move this to be able to see it better. I should consider a name. As an instance here, I name it test. Then here, I want to draw it here below the stair. Roof by extrusion. It works according to the sketch. Here, I draw this line like this, and the desired thickness can be defined here. As an instance, I want to create 2 layers. I change this to generic, duplicate, finishing, and 2.5 down and 8 millimeter. For example, here, this one, and here, finishing layer, plaster. In the plan or 3D, same as the width of the project, I lock it. In this way, if the size of the stair changes, it will be matched with it. Here, lock. This face with this one, lock. This face with this, lock. In this way, if there is any change about the width of the stair, it will be matched with it. And we have this finishing here like this, and we can continue this. It's time consuming, but it can be available. And unfortunately, it cannot be available by default. That's it. Good luck, guys.